Are you ready? Are you ready? Wait for it. Look for it. It's there. Are you ready to soar? Are you ready to explore? Are you ready to live your life the way it's meant to be lived? Let's reach new heights. Let's climb that mountain together. You can do it. Come on. Join me on a yogi venture. Hi guys! Welcome back! Gosh, thanks so much for returning. This makes me really happy. I don't know if I'm talking to just one person or if I'm talking to several, but I really appreciate it and I do not take you for granted. Thanks so much for listening to what I have to say. So I want to just jump right into our game. On the last episode, I introduced the game Two Truths and a Lie, and I want to see who guessed the right answer. I did have a few of you reach out to me, and you're waiting to hear, so I'm going to go ahead and share it. Let's review first. So it was Two Truths and a Lie, and one of them was hiked 40 miles in a day, drove across country, and skydived. So first, I'll start with the truth. The truth is, yes, I have skydived. That was something I did a few years ago. It was a year I was celebrating my 50th birthday, and I decided to try 50 new things. And skydiving was one of them. I kind of had a rebirth that year. And I was just trying all sorts of things that I never thought I would. And to be quite honest with you, it was scary. I had a brain fart. Okay, you might be asking, what is that? Well, I did a tandem dive. So I was attached to my instructor, and my instructor was going to let me pull the chute to open it, and I was supposed to do it at a certain time during our descent. And I think it was just too much stimulation between the cold air pushing against my face, between the visual of Earth below me. It was surreal. And I really think for a moment in time, my brain was taking it all in slow motion that I missed when I was supposed to pull the ripcord. And he motioned for me to pull it, and I just couldn't do it. My brain could hear him, but it wasn't processing for the arms to do what they needed to do. So anyway, he pulled it, and after we started slowing down the fall, I was able to kind of gain composure again, and he teased me and said, yeah, you had a little brain fart up there. And I was so happy that I was with him, because who knows what would have happened. And my landing was not the most graceful. I do have this on video, by the way. I don't know how I can show this. Maybe I will one day, but I was supposed to lift my legs up, and we tumbled over each other. It was fine. It was fine. But I did that, and that was a great experience. The other thing, that hiked 40 miles in a day. That's true. So that was a race. It was a fundraiser called HAM. In case anybody's interested, you hike across Maryland on the Appalachian Trail. So the Appalachian Trail is about 41 miles in the state of Maryland, and they have lots of stations set up for you to have water and snacks and lunch and all sorts of things, lots of care. So yeah, you do hike it though. You do hike 41 miles in one day. You start early in the morning, like 3 in the morning, and sun's coming up and you're hiking. And yeah, I did it. And I'm so glad I finished. I finished well. And that was a wonderful experience. So I guess that leaves drove across country. Can you believe it? I haven't done that yet. And that seems so simple. I guess I just need to pack up. I love a road trip. Love it. Love to get in my car and just go. So that's something I'm going to have to plan. So that's it. So anybody who guessed drove across country, you got it. Absolutely right. That's the lie. All right. So I love listening to Oprah's Super Soul Conversations. That's a podcast. I encourage you to tune into it if you'd like. Because what I'm going to do today, I want to pick up on something that she said. So I encourage you to go listen to her podcast on aging well, age well. She interviews Sybil Shepherd, Ally McGraw, Beverly Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bo Derek. I think that might be about it. But she's talking about these iconic women and how they feel about being in the skin that they're in, their beauty, and how it has affected them in terms of aging. And some of the responses I totally could relate to, and some I couldn't. I grew up with my mother always telling me, people would come up to me and say, "Oh, your daughter's so pretty." And I was taught to say thank you. And then my mother always followed it up with, "Pretty is as pretty does." Meaning, if you're pretty on the outside and ugly on the inside, it kind of wipes out your outside beauty. So I think I learned from my mother at a very early age that inner beauty is so much more important than outside beauty. So I guess growing up, kind of detached myself from my physical appearance. And some of you might be saying, "Oh yeah, well, how did you end up being a model?" Well, let me tell you, I did not seek out modeling. Okay, so let me back up just a little bit, though. I've always been interested in psychology and self-help books. Little did I know, and this is like from a young age, little did I know that this is a thing now. But, there used to be books, old books, that were talking about, self-development and maybe motivational. I used to like to read those books in my early teen years. Okay, yeah, something was wrong with me. Oh well, it still is. But I just was always interested in psychology. Hence, I ended up majoring in psychology in college. But I am, even still to this day, fascinated by the mind, by the soul, by what makes people do the things that they do. I love to people watch. I could people watch for hours. Sit at a park and watch people, or the mall. Ooh, the mall is the best. But anyway, so on Oprah's Super Soul Conversations, Sybil Shepherd was admitting to not earning her beauty. And she was saying that her parents gave her beauty. It's genetics. Not good or bad. It's just that's where it comes from. It comes from genetics. Sybil Shepherd admitted to having the fantasy about being the most beautiful girl in the room. Oprah had asked her if that was something that she felt other people projected on her. Sybil said that she also believed it. I've experienced people prejudging me before I speak, assuming that I'm carrying that label. Now, I see the stares. I've always been aware of a second look or a slight glance when someone thinks that I don't even see them. But I've learned how to tune people out just for that reason. I don't like the attention, but some women, like including Sybil Shepherd, were saying that they enjoyed it. They enjoyed that kind of attention. And she was saying how her beauty has opened doors for her, and she used it. I don't think that makes it wrong or right. I mean, statistics has shown that pretty people have more opportunities. I don't really remember where I heard or saw on television maybe this study. It was like a 60 minutes type of thing. But anyway, caught my attention for that moment. But when I think about it, and even you think about it, who determines what pretty is? I mean, is it society? Does the media? Who says? I mean, what are the... I think I either saw it somewhere, something about the the space between your eyes and how wide your nose is, or it was something about equal features, something equals like the eyes dimension. Anyway, I don't really remember what the ideal features are. But again, it just has me wondering, who dictates that? We're all beautiful. I even think that in the future, beauty's going to be defined by another way. I mean, just think about it. Humans are evolving, and I think by 2040, 2050, I think the population in the world is going to really look different. And so will the standards of beauty. Think about how the definition of a beautiful woman has changed since the 1700s. Or even beyond that, can you imagine what cavemen thought their ideal mate would have been like? Anyway, so what does all this have to do with aging? Well, according to Oprah's podcast, she was asking these beautiful women what it feels like to age. And I think she was referring to the fact that so many of them relied on their beauty to make their way in the world. And I'm not judging. But she was saying that she thinks it must be harder for a beautiful woman to age than a normal woman. Sybil Shepherd said that turning 40 for her was traumatic and 50 was a disaster because she feared getting old. And that was really sad to me. 40 is so young. Sybil Shepherd feared becoming disposable as she aged and no longer having value. In some countries, the elders hold all the power. I mean, clearly, a person with age offers so much wisdom to society. Someone must teach the younger generation. A fear of aging is driving plastic surgery and Botox and all the injections. I believe that the beauty industry is really benefiting from insecure women. And I dislike how makeup companies use 20-something for anti-aging products. And it saddens me even more that 20-somethings are falling for it. You know, they've started Botox and other injections, and they're using it as preventive care. I mean, God, I remember asking my agent once, years ago, if the advertising agencies really believed that women were stupid enough to fall for that kind of marketing. And I am not saying all women fall for it, but I think there's a majority of women out there that are falling for it because there's big business in the beauty industry. Big business. Some women will go to such lengths to maintain a youthful outward appearance, but they won't invest the inner work that's needed for a healthy sense of self. And it's noticeable. And I'm not saying all women, and I'm not preaching. This is just something that I've noticed, and it's a little bothersome because I feel like the inner work is so overlooked. It's vital. It's vital to our humanness, to our well-being. And so I really wish all of my sisters all over the world could learn how to love and nurture their inner beauty. Can you imagine how powerful that could be? Oprah says, external things always fade away, and to not attach to what your body looks like, because it will change, just like the seasons. Beverly Johnson said that it's tough to age in America, and she had a crisis at 25 years old. Isn't that too young to have a crisis because you're growing older at 25? Oprah kept reinforcing how important it is to cultivate a strong sense of self, to stop living life out of your ego. Well, I want to continue to develop my inner spirit and appreciate being able to take a breath each day. So I'm going to go ahead and end with this inspirational quote written by Zachary Scott. And he says, as you grow older, you'll find the only things that you regret are the things you didn't do. Think about that. So stop focusing on how your body is changing and start living like you have never lived before. In my next episode, I'm going to introduce you guys to Lauren Atkin. She's the founder of the New York City Web Fest, And I'll tell you why that's so important to me. Last year, I was a volunteer at WebFest, and being around her and the filmmakers inspired me to decide to write my own project. So I'm hoping you guys are going to be with me on this journey, because this is something that I'm going to be tackling throughout the next probably year. I have written a few scripts now, and I've just decided I am not going up for roles that I feel are right for me, and I'm going to have to develop it on my own. Whoa, did I just share that? Okay. Yeah, so anyway, so stay tuned. That's what I'm going to talk about in the next episode. All right. Thanks, guys. And don't forget, life is marvelous and exciting. Let's go explore. Your yogi venture is waiting. And again, I'm still loving my Auralox Acoustics desk mats. It's working really well for me. Thank you. And another big shout out goes to Ryan Hood for editing. You're making my life so much easier.